McCartney's through, he might go for it, still going, trying to barge his way through, goes to the shot, what a goal!
Arriving Rian O'Neill from an almost impossible angle, and that's the rousing score now we're looking for.
Conor Turbin kicks this one in, that's absolutely superb.
Hi everyone and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. You're very welcome to our review show, and we're looking back at a huge weekend of semi-final action across the intermediate, junior and senior championships. I'm going to give a quick roundup of Saturday's action and along with the junior and intermediate semi-finals from Sunday, and then later on the podcast we're going to hear from Mark Beattie and Johnny Murtagh. I spoke to them after Clonard's semi-final clash with Crossmaglen. So to get us started, we're going to look at Saturday's action first, and it was Carcruppen against Wolf Tones in the box at Athletic Grounds, and Carcruppen qualified for the intermediate championship final as they saw off the Tones with 2 points to spare. A late goal from the Tones left an exciting finale, but Cruppen held on for the victory. Barry Flynn's side, who won the championship in 2021, were the better team on that day, and they were deserving winners on Saturday. But Tones will rue a number of missed chances, particularly in the first half when they had the breeze at their backs. Top scorer on the day, Owen Woods, opened the scoring with a point after 2 minutes before doubling his tally just moments later. Paddy Judge got the Tones up and running with a point, but it was soon cancelled out by Woods. Ben Matthews grew Cruppen's advantage, but it was again Judge that replied for the Tones. Owen Kane and Josh McGorgan swapped scores before a third from Judge left just one the difference at the break. Carcruppen ahead 0-5 to 0-4. Woods immediately stretched the Cruppen lead at the start of the second half, while a brace from Woods, split by a Cahill O'Grady score, pushed Cruppen further ahead. Jamie Hawkey landed a free, which proved to be the first score of the second half for the Tones, but it was cancelled out at the other end by Woods. Tones then hit the net through Josh McGorn, keeping them in the contest with a few minutes remaining. Woods sent over another from the dead ball after Cruppen had lost Ben Matthews to a second yellow card, while John McAleenan chipped over the final score of the game, and that left 2 points the difference in the end, with Carcruppen qualifying for the final 0-11 to 1-6. Also on Saturday then was Clonagale and Madden in the senior championship, and Clonagale are back in the senior championship final after a hard-fought 2-point win over Madden. The Clons looked comfortable heading into the final quarter, but Madden produced a stunning second half revival. 6 points on the trot from the referees got them back to within 2 late on, but they will rue a number of missed chances they had in front of the goalposts. With the game in the melting pot and just a few minutes remaining, Stephen Campbell stepped up to land his fourth score of the day to give Clonagale much needed breathing space. Clans, with the breeze at their backs in the first half, really burst out of the traps with 7 unanswered scores. Dermot Loney kicked 2 of them, while Callum O'Neill, Sam McLarnon, Shane McPartlin, Nell Henderson and Stephen Campbell all raised white flags as well. Conor Grimley, who was Madden's best player on the night, got his side up and running, but his opener was cancelled out by Stephen Campbell. Grimley traded scores with Michael McConville, while further points from brothers Conor and Owen Grimley left 6 points the difference at the break, with Clonagale comfortably ahead 0-9 to 0-3. Conor Grimley made it a closer tie when he scored straight after the turnaround, but it was Clonagale who really went on the front foot. Campbell, Brendan O'Hagan, Dermot Loney and Shane McPartland all pointed for the Lurgan side as they sailed into what looked like an uncatchable 8-point lead, 0-13 to 0-5. But Madden really threw the shackles off, and 2 inspirational scores, both from the dead ball by Niall Grimley, offered them some hope. That kick started a scoring spree for Madden, with Darragh McMullen, Aaron McKenna and Conor Grimley claiming 2 of them to make it a 2-point game. Stephen Campbell burst forward to split the posts and restored Clonagale's 3-point advantage. Madden had the final score of the game as Kieran Rafferty pulled one back for Mark Hart's side, but that was as close as they could get on the night, and Clonagale held on to reach their second final in a row, and it's the first time since 1994 that Clans are back in the senior championship final for 2 years in a row. And 1994 was also the last time they got their hands on the Jerry Fagan Cup, so they'll be eager for history to repeat itself in a couple of weeks' time. In the junior championship then, College Land had already qualified for the junior championship final, and it's on Portmore who will take on their old rivals in the final, having saw off Middletown on Sunday. It took extra time, but the Blackwatertown men were ahead when it mattered. A goal in the second period of extra time was the key score, and it was Jude Lavery who poked the ball home. They didn't score for the rest of the game, but that 3-pointer was enough to see Portmore through. Conor New opened the scoring inside the first 60 seconds before Ryan Gorman doubled their advantage. Chris McCann got Middletown up and running after 18 minutes while Paddy Lynch tied things up. Davy Curran nudged Portmore ahead once again before Finan O'Brien grabbed the final score of the opening half, and that left things all square when the short whistle sounded, 0-3 apiece. Middletown burst out of the chops after the turnaround and rattled the net within the first 5 minutes. They earned a penalty, and Finan O'Brien confidently stood up to slot the ball to the back of the net. Gorman pulled 2 back with a point from a free and 1 from play before Jude Lavery swept over, scored to level the game. Gorman fired over 2 more frees before Cormac Kieran claimed his first point of the day. Matthew Carville got Middletown's first score in 20 minutes, and that helped them close the game late on. Martin Moan made it a 1-point game with a point before chipping over a free to level the tie and bring the game to extra time. James Hughes nudged Middletown ahead with a pointed free, but Gary Traynor levelled things up. O'Brien and Gorman traded scores, leaving it level at half-time of extra time before Lavery hit home the goal after the turnaround. Moan added a late Middletown score, but it was Portmore who prevailed, and they'll meet College Land in next Sunday's junior championship final. In the intermediate semi-final on Sunday then, St Paul's made their way through to the final, and they'll face Carcruppen in the intermediate championship final after overcoming Clonard in seconds. It's the 4th time in 5 seasons that the Lurgan side will contest the intermediate decider. St Paul's were much the better team throughout the encounter and deservedly booked their place in the showpiece. They'll hope to go one step further than in previous seasons, however, and get their hands on the Atty Hurdy Cup. St Paul's shot out of the blocks with opening 2 scores of the game coming through Owen McConville and Rory Grimes. John McLaughlin swapped scores with Anton McParlin before Grimes grabbed his second of the day. Rogan McVeigh got his name on the score sheet, but his point was cancelled out by McConville at the other end of the field. McVeigh once again swapped scores, this time with Joe Fitzsimmons, before McConville fired over his third. An Andrew Mernon brace made 6 the difference, while Owen McConville and Andrew Cooper traded pointed efforts. That was the final score of the opening half, with St Paul's ahead by 6, not 10 to not 4. Ryan Lawless and Oren McGill stretched the lead at the start of the second half before Niall O'Neill pulled one back for Clonard. Dean Fitzsimmons and Andrew Mernon both split the posts, while Lawless raised a second white flag. Ryan Lawless, McConville and Joe Fitzsimmons all added to the growing margin, but Michael McKelly and Ewan McAreevy did reply at the far end of the field. Dean Fitzsimmons and Tierna McDonald exchanged scores, while Tom Turbot also registered a point for Clonard in seconds. McVeigh claimed his third of the day, while Owen McConville slotted over the final score and would prove to be his 6th point, and that left St Paul's comfortably ahead by 9 points when the referee sounded the full-time whistle. So the junior decider is next weekend, and that's between Portmore and College Land. Carcruppen will face St Paul's in the intermediate final, while in the senior final it's an all-Lurgan derby of Clonagale against Clonard. So to wrap up our podcast, we'll hear now from Mark Beattie and Johnny Murtagh, and I spoke to them after Clonard's 4-point win over Crossmaglen. So I'm delighted to be joined by Johnny and Mark here. And Mark, I'll give you the first word here. Clonard into the senior championship final for the first time in 3 years. How does it feel just immediately after the game?
We're absolutely delighted. Brilliant emotions all over the crowd. Everybody was just completely delighted, and you've seen everyone coming on the field there to be back in the final. It's just fantastic. All the hard work that Rory and the boys have put in. they've got their just rewards now to get back into that final. They were getting a bit of criticism over the last number of weeks because maybe haven't been performing and all, but now they can really enjoy now the next couple of weeks and be ready for a final. But for these boys, as much as they've got another final and there was a wee bit of pressure going on them, they know this is where they should be. And I know it was Crossmaglen in the semi-final, and all the respect that you give to Crossmaglen, but Clonerne and the players that are in that squad, they believe that the finals, or West Crossmaglen or whoever it may be, that they have the tools to go and get the results, and we got that tonight, and I'm absolutely chuffed, and I'm over the moon for Rory, because he was, a lot of pressure was being put on him and things were being said about teams not performing and all, but that's 2 leagues in a row they've won. They've now got themselves back in the championship final, and I'm really over the moon for him more than anyone.
And Johnny, obviously the opposite emotions for yourself with Cross being knocked out, but just off camera we were all speaking there, and Clonerne were the better team on the night, and you have to give it to them.
Yeah, I've no complaints. I don't think I have any complaints just with the game. We actually had an extra man there for 10 minutes second half, and it looked like Clonerne just went up a gear, and we were struggling. We looked out of ideas and badly needed a bit of a freshener. I'd say a couple of boys looked sore. Ashley O'Neill took a couple of heavy hits, Rain took a couple of massive hits, but the big guys for Clonerne stood up. Like TK was immense there today. The physicality he brought to it. So I have absolutely no complaints. I thought the best team won, and they sort of had us at arm's length, to be honest. When they got the goal, we spoke about it at half time. We needed to see a big change. There wasn't really much. With Keane gone off was a massive blow for us. We chatted about that at half time, but look, Mark's getting the big game that he wanted now in the final, so
we're not touching it just yet. But Johnny mentioned the black yard, Mark, and Clonerne had got the goal at the start of the second half, put them 5 points up. Cross got 2 points in a row, and then the black yard came, and it just felt like momentum was switching a wee bit, but Clonerne dealt with that period superbly well.
They did indeed. They seen that out brilliantly. We actually, towards the end of that, the 10-minute spell, we went up and got 2 points of our own. They dealt a lot of experience, and I think one of the big pluses was Shea Heffron coming back in there tonight. I think he really shored up the defence. You could hear him talking, telling people where to go, just demanding people just to keep stepping up and up in their game, and during that period of time he really did stand up. And also TK and Barry, they got on a lot of ball, they made 30, 40, 50 yard runs, took a lot of pressure off the Clonerne defence, and that was a big plus whenever Ram went off. It was a bit maybe harsh. I seen it here under me. There's a couple of other times maybe black cards could have been given out if you're going down that line. But listen, they managed it out really well, and that's something that they'll have to be happy with.
Just on Shea Heffron, Johnny, he put in 2 massive blocks there, as did Conor Turbot. The defending in that, particularly the final quarter, and Barry McCambridge in there as well, it was brilliant stuff from Clonerne, from a neutral anyway, maybe not from your own perspective, but I suppose you have to hand it to them when you see players putting their bodies on the line like that. It's great to see.
But the game smarts that he brings to it, he's a very intelligent individual, and his game smarts is unreal. His sense of putting his body in the right place at the right time, that it can't happen all the time. There's an act it, and he has it. He's that smart, so 100% him and TK and these boys put their body on the line. As I said there, Barry was making hard runs, but the ones who was going up the sideline and TK bouncing men off him, but he was smart enough at one time, he was going to be put out, popped the ball on in front of him and got it on the other side. You know what I mean? That game smarts that they were bringing to the table, so Shea's made an unbelievable reintroduction to Clonerne, and these boys be over the moon to have him back. But do you know what? I think Clonerne, probably at 80% there. I think they've allowed more hay in them,
Probably the bench, and we spoke about that the other night. Mark spoke about it at half time. Clonerne probably got more off their bench than what Crossmaglen did. I know Jamie Clark did put over a point, but in terms of the overall play, the Clonerne bench was probably just that wee bit more impactful.
Yeah, whenever you see like Reddy French coming on, Don McCarthy, Rand Meehan, these are guys, Aidan McConville, these are guys we get on majority of any club team in Armagh at the moment. And as Johnny had said just before, Jimmy maybe hadn't put a whole pile of pre-season in. Maybe the work wasn't done. Yes, we all know the class that Jamie Clark has and what a point he scored there. But our bench was always going to be that wee bit stronger. I still feel the changes were being made at the right time, and we'll talk about the bench. But I just feel we were keeping cross at arm's length. We were just all over the field. We were just that wee bit stronger throughout the game. So the changes just give us the fresh legs. John McGee came in there. What a catch at the end when they were, 3 points down. We needed someone to win a ball. He came in. He caught a brilliant ball. We went up and got the score to get us 4 points ahead. So just all over the field. And these guys now will be pushing for places because you've Sean McCarthy went off injured. It seems to be a fairly hefty enough injury, so there'll be somebody's stepping in there for a place, but that'll suppose come down the next 2 weeks in training, But definitely delighted with the players that came onto the field as well. But just in general, them changes were made just to freshen it more than anything, and because the boys on the field were doing the job as it was.
And Johnny, I'll talk to Mark closer to the final maybe. I'll not get his predictions or anything just yet, although I'm sure he's mad looking to give them out at the minute. But we were here last night with Clonagale and Madden, and Clonagale got over the line, 2 points to spur. It sets up a really interesting all-Lurgan, good old-fashioned derby in the final, and the whole county is going to be really looking forward to this, particularly those in Lurgan.
Yeah, well, especially after last season, with Clans getting to the final as well, and they're going to fancy their chances. They're going to see what they've learned, especially it's the first final they're in a long time. They've learned a lot from it last year. They were full value last night, albeit Madden came back at them, but the way Stefan kicked on that mighty score, and that's what we're going to want to see in this final. We're going to want to see the big players stepping up. We chatted about it beforehand. We've seen it tonight. Cross had a couple. Oisín had a big first half. Obviously, the second half then we talked about the lads, the Barrys and TKs and stuff like that. So I think that's what we're going to see in the final, and that's what we want to see. But it's a local derby, and I can't wait for this. It's going to be some game, helter-skelter. Would like to be this man now next couple of weeks. But look, it's. I'm not going to call it now, to be honest, but I think anything could happen in that game.
Yeah, we have a big 2 weeks to preview that game, but that's all we have for tonight, folks. We're going to be back during the week. We'll be looking forward to the Junior Championship final. That's a good old-fashioned derby day as well. That's College Land against Portmore. So we'll be looking forward to it, and we'll be covering everything as usual with our match reports, our previews, team of the weeks and top scores. So make sure to follow us on all our social media pages and follow us on YouTube or Spotify if that's where you get your podcasts. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, and I'll chat to you during the week.
Hurlings through, he might go for it, still going, trying to barge his way through, goes to the shot, what a goal!
Arriving, Rian O'Neill from an almost impossible angle, and that's the rousing score now we're looking for.
Connor Turbin kicks this one in, that's absolutely superb.